Hey, gorgeous! Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast with Holly Worton, which combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset along with practical business tips to grow your business. This podcast features solo shows with Holly and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now, here's your host, Holly Worton.
Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 208. This is your host, Holly Worton, and I'm back with another solo episode. Today I'm going to talk about what to do when you have nothing to say. And this is kind of a weird topic, and it's come because I had no idea what to talk about for this episode. Now, you may know, because I talk about this quite a bit, that I usually plan and record my episodes about 8 weeks out. So I'm usually recording interviews now that will go live 8 weeks from now, or solo episodes that will go live 8 weeks from now. And Joe Casey and I usually record our episodes 8 weeks from when they go out. So I'm usually planning about 2 months in advance. Actually, I'm planning even longer than that. I've got a whole spreadsheet full of all of the episodes between now and the end of the year, and then things will switch around. Some things are written in pencil, but generally speaking, I've got it planned out many months in advance, and then I actually create the episodes about 2 months in advance. And my audio editor got in touch with me a couple days ago, and he said, I don't have the files for episode 208. Have you sent them to me? And I said, oh, no, but I'll get them to you tomorrow. And then the next day came and went, and the following day and the following day. And so here I am recording this. And I finally decided to sit down and just make this a topic. You know, what to do, what to say when you feel like you have nothing to say. So here we are. Now, I was a little wary of one of the things that kept me from actually creating an episode was because, like I said, I felt like I had nothing to say. I've been in this really weird process ever since I launched my Heart-Centered Energy Works, this technique, because I went through this. It wasn't a massive launch, but I really kind of got it out there. I was really excited about it. I'm still really excited about it. But then I kind of went into hibernation mode afterwards. And it's weird because I feel like, and I know I've been talking about this lately in other episodes, but feel like I'm going through another kind of growth and up level and transformation period. And when I go through those periods, I often feel like I don't know what to talk about. And I'm also going through a period where I'm rethinking how I market. As you know, if you've seen either of the instinctive whole brain marketing videos that I've done, and if you haven't, you can find those on YouTube. And I've been thinking a lot lately and talking a lot lately with my business friends about visibility and how I'm rethinking visibility and how I want to move beyond all the noise that's out there online. So many people doing daily Facebook Lives because marketing coach probably told them to do that. And yeah, that's visibility. And yes, that gets you out there. And yes, it probably serves to get you over any fears of visibility or live videos that you may have. But in the end, how effective is that going to be for your business? Because I really believe that what is going to get you clients is forming deeper connections with people rather than the superficial connections of just doing a video and getting it out there, which is why I was really concerned about this podcast episode. You know, I didn't want to just pick a topic, talk about it for 30 minutes and put it out there because I really want to give you quality content. And in the end, I sat down and decided the most quality thing I could give you for this week is to talk about this process because I know I'm not the only one going through it. I know it because I've talked about this with other business friends, and from time to time it comes up that other people are experiencing this as well. So I think this is perhaps a conversation that we need to have. You know, what to do when you feel like you have nothing to say, what to say when you feel like you have nothing to say. And I find it so ironic that I'm talking about this because just had a session with a client last week, and one of the things she said was, I'm really struggling for topics, for videos, blogs, blog posts, that kind of thing. She said, I feel like I have nothing to say. And she said, let's brainstorm some topics because you're really good at picking that stuff out of my head. So we spent part of the session brainstorming ideas for topics, and she went away with, I think, 10 or 12 different topics for blog posts and videos that she was really, really excited about. And it's all stuff that is clearly within her zone of genius. It's useful to her existing and potential clients, and just really interesting and useful information in general. So I usually find it so easy when I'm working with clients to help them figure out what topics are exciting for them and useful for their audience. So again, I find it really ironic that now I'm doing a blog post talking about what to do when you have nothing to say. But I think this is part of that deeper visibility that I was talking about a minute ago. Things are changing. Things are changing for me. Things are changing for my business. I have shifted into using my heart-centered energy work. I have shifted into adding channeling to my business. And that's something that I never thought I'd be doing professionally. I thought it was just something that I would do on my own. But if you saw my webinar that I did a couple weeks ago with Cara Wild, where we talked about how to get the mindset you need to channel your guides, channeling is something that I'm being asked to do more and more in my client sessions. I'm also starting to make a shift from working with people on one-off sessions or 3-session packages to wanting to work with people on a much more longer scale. So I'm going to be putting more focus in the coming weeks and months on getting people into my 6-month package, because what I really love is I really love digging deep. I really love going deep with people, and I love seeing the transformation that people get from ongoing work on their mindset, because it's really, really powerful when you do this work on a regular basis for a long term. And I can attest to that because I've been on this mindset journey now for about 4 years, and I have changed so much over the last 4 years. So again, changes in my business, changes to how I work with people, how I want to focus on working with people. And the whole channeling thing is adding a whole new dimension to my work. Also adding a lot more business kind of practical coaching and mentoring and strategy stuff to my business because I've been asked for it. So I started having clients last year and this year who were asking me for some of the mindset stuff, but also just they wanted to pick my brain and ask me some practical questions. So I think the way things are moving is with clients in general, but particularly with my longer term clients, people who go for the 6-month package, sessions are turning into a combination of whatever they need that time in each individual session, but a combination of 3 things: the mindset work using heart-centered energy work, practical business mentoring, coaching, strategy, and channeling. So I've had clients that have said, can you just verbally channel your guides and can I ask them questions? Great, I'm happy to do that. So I'm blending those 3 things into my business. So I'm telling you this because my business is once again going through a slight change in how I work with people. I'm adding new dimensions. So it's not just the mindset stuff, although that will be the focus, but I'm adding the practical stuff as well and the channeling stuff. So I think this is also something that because I'm changing, because I'm transforming, because I'm in the middle of, I think, an up level again, it leads me to that place where I'm doing a lot more inner work, doing a lot more in-depth inner work with myself and stepping up into a new identity. And I know I've mentioned this so many times on the show, but if you haven't checked out Cara Wild's New Identity Masterclass, please do so. It's the thing I turn to every time I feel like I'm up leveling in my business and life, and I need to get clarity on what is this new identity that I'm just naturally stepping into, but perhaps don't have the words yet to explain. So if you're going through something similar, or you have gone through something similar in the past where you feel like I have nothing to say, or I have no idea what to say, or I have a whole list of topics, which this is actually the case for me. I have a whole list of topics that I've put together in Asana, and I keep going through the list and nothing feels like anything I want to talk about. So if you're going through this, or if you have gone through this, or if you think you might be going through it in the future, because this does happen to me kind of on a cyclical basis, like every once in a while, as I said, as I'm up leveling or changing or going through a transformation in my business and life, I go through these periods where I'm very deeply kind of doing the inner work and not knowing what to say to you, either in videos or on this podcast or in blog posts. So anyway, what to do? So I think that and this is again what works for me, it may or may not work for you. I'm not the kind of person who says you must do this is my blueprint, but give it a try. These are suggestions, as always suggestions, not the final word. So what I suggest, do the inner work, tap into yourself, reconnect with yourself, really get clear on what's going on for you and what is coming up in the future. So as I just mentioned, the New Identity Masterclass that Cara Wild has, and I'll put the link in the show notes, is so damn good. I love it so much. And I'm actually thinking it's been about a month or 2 since I've done it, so I might want to do it again. because it's been different every time when I get out of it. So tap into yourself. And this is something Joe Casey and I have talked about on the podcast before, I believe statements. So I did this in my journal, I think it was about late last year. Just wrote down, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. And then I wrote down whatever was the first thing that came to my mind. And I just journaled on it and I wrote, just free writing, I believe, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd finish the sentence and then I would write again, I believe. And then I would just write whatever came to my mind. I didn't sit down to journal knowing what it was that I was going to say, but it was like every time I started a new sentence with the words, I believe, something would just pop up into my head and I would journal on it. So I believe statements are a great way to journal. Journaling in general, just free writing on whatever comes to mind. Doing the kind of morning pages kind of thing, if you're familiar with that. I know a lot of people do morning pages. You can do that, or you can just sit down, set an intention, ask a question. What am I going through now? What am I stepping up into? What are the changes that are going on in my business? Or simply, what do I need to teach today? What do I need to discuss in my business? What is the topic? What is the best topic for my next blog post, video, podcast, whatever? And then just journal whatever comes to mind. Write it down and see what comes up. Use your intuition. Really tap into your intuition. I include so many different ways of not only tapping into your intuition, but really kind of raising the volume on your intuition so you can hear it better. So again, if you want to tap into your intuition, I've written a book called Business Intuition. That is the best place to go to learn more about how to really tap into yourself, tap into your higher self, and get clear messages from your intuition and tap into that kind of inner compass or true north. So doing that kind of work to really get in touch with yourself and tap into your intuition is really, really useful in a time like this. Oracle cards. If you've ever played around with Oracle cards, I have a ton of different decks. I love using Oracle cards. So the kind of thing you could ask is, same questions I mentioned before. What do I have to teach today? What is the best or most important topic for me to teach today? What is the best topic for my next blog post, video, podcast? Or you can ask other questions about what's going on in your business. What do you need to know about your business? What do you need to know about this transition period, about your new identity, about how you're up-leveling, what you're stepping up into, and what you need to let go of, perhaps. Channeling is also a really, really great way. I know not everyone has practiced that skill, but it's a skill, as Cara and I discussed in our online webinar, which you can access through the show notes. I'll send you a link in there. But it's a skill you can acquire. I didn't channel up until a few years, probably a couple of years ago. And I've only really stepped into doing it more recently on a regular basis and verbally channeling. So if that's something you've been interested in, learn how to do it. There's really easy ways to learn how to do it, and give it a try, or speak to someone else who does it. There are plenty of people here who can channel your guides or channel their guides, and you can get that perspective on what's going on for you, what it is that you are meant to be working on right now, or talking about right now, or marketing, how you should be marketing your business right now. And when you tap into yourself, and I'm telling this to you as much as I'm telling it to me, it will be easier to create content, marketing content, videos, podcasts, blog posts that will help create that deep visibility that I think we're all interested in, because you're not going to get clients probably because you wrote top 10 ways to heal your crap. You're going to get clients from sharing the deep stuff, from being open, from being vulnerable, from being authentic. And I know those are buzzwords. And Joe Casey and I are going to be doing a podcast coming out soon talking about how to actually be authentic and what the heck that means, because those words are thrown around so much lately. But really, that's how clients become interested in working with us, because we open up, because we share this stuff, which is why I'm doing this very weird topic today, what to do when you have nothing to say. It seemed like a non-topic when it first popped into my head, but I think it's really, really important to be talking about this stuff, because odds are you've experienced this before, or you're going to experience it. And I know I can kind of kick myself about it. It's been a long time since I did a video for my YouTube channel. It's been a long time since I wrote a blog post. I did a kind of techie blog post talking about my favorite tech solutions, but I haven't done a deeper blog post in a while. So, I feel like I've kind of gone silent, and I feel guilty about that. But I think it's important for us to give ourselves permission to slow down, to have these moments, to have these cycles, to have these periods where we do the inner work and go through these up levels, these transformations, these changes without feeling like we have to put out a bunch of crap in the process. Because yeah, I could have done a bunch of daily Facebook Lives on stupid shit that you don't really care about. I have a whole list of stuff that I'm just really not jazzed to talk about now. It would be interesting, it might be useful, but is it what I need to be putting out now? Probably not. And I don't want to put stuff out just for the sake of putting it out. So that's why we're talking about this. So again, do the inner work. And I don't mean to say that there are periods where you only need to do inner work, because I do believe you can do the inner work and market your business at the same time. That's how I usually function. But when you're having those weird phases, like I'm in now, where you feel like you have nothing to say and you really want to say something deep and interesting, but you don't know what the heck that is, that's when you need to really go within, tap into yourself, and do what you need to do to kind of put it into words what's going on for you. And I think that's what all of these tools and techniques are that I mentioned earlier. Doing the New Identity Masterclass, journaling, doing the I Believe statements, channeling, oracle cards, whatever. That's just a way to put words to what you're experiencing and to have a way to express it to other people and to make it more kind of tangible when you're in that murky middle where you're just like, stuff's changing. I feel like the soup is being stirred, but I don't even know what flavor the soup is. It's kind of this weird color. I don't know. I just put a bunch of stuff in there. And you don't know what's going to come out of it. And I think it's also important for me to say, don't go through this on your own. I think owning an online business can be very isolating if we allow ourselves to isolate ourselves. And you may know that I resisted joining a mastermind for so long, because I've talked about this a lot, because I really believe that I know best for my business. You know that I'm really into intuition. I'm really into doing my thing. And I didn't want to join a group where other people were giving me advice. You should do this, you should do this, you should do the other, because I don't want to follow the traditional business and marketing advice. I'm doing something different and I want to do something different. So I really resisted the mastermind. And it wasn't until a couple, maybe 2-3 months ago that I was out on a walk with a friend and we were talking about business and masterminds, and she was in a mastermind. And we said, every time we follow someone else's advice, we get off track. But when we follow our own intuition, things just flow and things are easier and things just go better in business. And so that was when we set up what we call the Master Gut, which is a group of 4 women where we're helping each other stay on track by following our intuition. So we're all 4 really intuitive, we all 4 channel, and we're really about creating that deeper connection with ourselves. And so we keep each other on track by reminding ourselves to listen to our intuition. The point of telling this story is I've got a great community now of friends. They were all my friends beforehand, but I hadn't put them together in this group just like this. And so we've got a private Facebook group. We do calls every other week. And it's created that really deep connection with other entrepreneurs that I realize now how much I needed it, because I would have calls with business friends every once in a while, and it was fantastic, but having this small community is really, really taking things to a new level in terms of support. And because we have that private Facebook group that we've set up for ourselves, whenever any one of us is feeling down or off or weird or just things aren't going right, or things are going right and we want to celebrate, we just pop it in the group and we get that support. So in addition to going within, go without and connect and create some kind of connection with other people. Whether it's having a business friend that you Skype with on a weekly, monthly, bi-monthly basis, or a small group like I have, do what works for you. But have that connection, because if you get the right group of people together, or if you create calls on a regular basis with someone who's a lot like you find that you are often on the same track or experiencing similar things the same week. There are times where we'll get on our Master Gut calls and we're all going through the same thing or similar things. And it's just really interesting and useful and really, really helpful to see other people going through the same challenges that I'm going through, because often it'll be similar but slightly different. So it's easy to help because I can see things that they can't see, but yet I have that support because we're going through similar things. So Again, go within, tap into yourself, tap into that intuition, really go within and do the journaling, do the channeling, do the oracle cards, doing whatever, but also get that support. And I think that's really, really important. So when you feel like you have nothing to say, ask your business friends, ask your, mastermind, master gut, whatever, and get ideas from them, because when any one of them will say, oh, I don't know what to talk about, I can easily come up with at least 5 things that I would love to read from them or hear from them in a video or a podcast. And they can do the same for me. Interestingly, some of the things that I had on my list were the things that they had given me. And they gave me some really great stuff that I know at some point I will be up for writing or talking about. But right now, I think none of them felt right. I think because I needed to have this conversation with you and talk to you about what to do when you have nothing to say, because this is a big thing that I hear a lot. So I think that's why, even though a lot of their suggestions were aligned and feel right for me, they didn't feel right now, because this really needed to come through. I needed to talk about the nothingness. So I hope you found this useful. And I'm going to suspect that you did, because this is such a weird topic and I felt so drawn to talk about it. So again, if you feel like you've had nothing to say, if you feel like you're going through the messy middle, the murky middle, you're in the middle of a transition, an up level or whatever, really dig deep and tap into yourself, tap into that intuition. Do whatever it is that you do to reconnect with yourself and to get clarity, to put words to what it is that you're going through, because I think that's sometimes what we need. We need to kind of be able to describe it to ourselves. Otherwise, it can just feel so lost and weird. So again, I will put all the links to stuff in the show notes, but do take a look at the New Identity Masterclass, take a look at my Business Intuition book, do whatever kind of journaling you usually do, try those I believe statements. And the I believe statements, what I did with those was I ended up sharing them as Facebook posts, and they got really, really great response, because it was the deep stuff. People really react to the deep stuff. They don't react as much to the top 10 how to blah blah lists. They react to, I'm experiencing this, I believe this, I'm going through this, that kind of thing, because people can relate to that. Oftentimes people are going through or have gone through something very similar to what you're experiencing. And again, oracle cards are so fun and easy. So if you have an oracle card deck, or if you don't, you can often find them online where you just kind of ask a question, click a button, and something comes up. I prefer the cards just because I like shuffling the deck and touching the cards, and I love that. So get yourself a deck. But oracle cards are such an easy way to have fun and to play with asking questions and getting guidance. I find that the guidance I get from oracle cards is really, really, really accurate, and they're really easy to use. So I highly recommend that you check them out, give a play, and let me know how it goes. If you have not yet joined my private Facebook group, Business Mindset Alchemists, I would love to see you in there. One thing about podcasting is that it's very much me talking at you, not so much hearing from you. So I would love to hear, what are your thoughts on this episode? Have you ever gone through this? Are you experiencing this now? Tell me, tell others. It's a great group. It's a fairly small group, and it feels really safe and intimate, and it's a great place to talk about business mindset. So if you go to hollyworton.com/group, you can take a look and join and have a discussion with me and with everyone else in there about this episode, about business mindset, about what's going on. We have the deeper conversations in there. So I think that's a great place for us to explore the kinds of things that I'm talking about on this podcast, since I don't actually get to hear from you. Or if you would like to write in and let me know what you thought of this episode, I would love to share it on a future episode. So you can write to me at holly@hollyworton.com and let me know what you think, or join the group. Also, I have mentioned this in previous episodes and haven't mentioned as much as I'd like. I would love to feature a listener on this show. So if you are interested in being a guest on the show, I would like to talk with you about business mindset. How has this show helped you with your business mindset? How has working on your business mindset transformed your business and your life? How things have changed for you? What are your favorite episodes? That kind of thing. So if you are interested in being featured as a special guest on the show, please go to hollyworton.com/guest, and that will redirect you to a Google form where you can enter your information, answer just a couple questions, and let me know what you think. I've actually only had a couple of people fill that out, probably because I've not been so good at reminding you. So if you are interested, I would love to hear from you. So please fill out that form. If you're interested, hollyworton.com/guest. And again, get in touch. Let me know how you felt about today's episode. Let me know if you feel like you have nothing to say. And let me know how these tools and suggestions, ideas for dealing with that situation, how they've worked for you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about such a kind of awkward topic. What to do, what to say when you have nothing to say. So again, hope you found this interesting and useful. Please let me know, holly@hollyworton.com. And thank you for listening. And remember to visit hollyworton.com/208 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast with your host, Holly Worton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed at hollyworton.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you.